Hello, viewers and subscribers. Welcome once again. My screencast. Like last screencast, I already broadcast monitoring system for Spring Boot application with Micrometer, Prometheus, and then Grafana dashboard monitoring tools. And I already recorded the for screencast, and now there's the screencast. I'm continuing the further development. The from meaning, how can you implement your microservices or in Spring microservices based Spring Boot based microservices and or any Spring Boot based web applications, and those web application consuming your middle layer or backend microservices based on the REST API, REST microservices. That was the idea. So that's why when I published my last playlist, the screencast, this is the screencast number 18, and a lot of viewers asking me to give it to really detailed informations and from the very beginning level to the development level, each of the how can say each of the development steps. That's why I make a plan to continue the further development with the multicast screencast. So that means today I try to discuss discuss or implement or configure the features. How can you configure or how can you set up your projects, and then how can you configure your the application.properties like with the Spring Boot profiling concept, and then visualize the all generated respective matrices, health informations, and then mapping information, and so on, and all the actuator informations. That means meaning that how can you integrate or how can you configure the Spring Boot actuator with micrometer, and then after that, when the Spring Boot actuator and micrometer is properly configured you into your projects, then how can you visualize those matrices with the any REST API testing tool like Google Postman, and then also UI or REST client, any browser, any REST API testing tools. And even though you can directly go to the your browser, as you see here, the browser, one of the tests, that's my application is running my local machines and 8077, and then this is the application context, and the actuator and mapping information is, you see the here the application. You can even though check it like in the browser level, and if you go there, and so all the you can go also these levels. So you see that the URL, and then actuator and Prometheus, and even though you can in the end of the day you can see all the matrices that you generated your applications, then you try to visualize with Prometheus, and then also the Grafana. That means your actuator or with the micrometer produces or expose your matrices information out from your application, and then it's possible to visualize with the Prometheus. And then if you have a rich UI visualization need to, and then you can integrate very quickly the Prometheus matrices into the Grafana matrix, because Grafana has really rich UI and visualization tools. You can see it. I will show you from very beginning level to the end level. That's why I said it is the multicast screencast. Just follow the channel, my channels, and then I will continue the adding the recording, and then I will edit here. So that means you can go to the playlist like monitoring a Spring Boot application. Doesn't matter the application is a web application or microservices based applications, and other application with actuator or micrometer, and then Grafana, Prometheus, and then Grafana visualization. I will continue. That's one. So let's have a look the presentation what I prepared today. So This is our the last presentation, last screencast that's I from 18.1 up to 18.4. It's they see that the graphical microservice and monolithic applications and how why we needed monitoring applications because of the lot of microservices integrated into the web application. You need to be visualized. We need to be monitored those systems even though in the hardware level and the software level. That's the then you can very quickly fix the bugs and you can you can do really in the pipeline like CI/CD and then DevOps culture really practically you can do it. So those things, if you have a really good monitoring tool, then it is possible to really flexibly your development pipeline is really efficiently and it is well just optimized based on your timestamp, or it is well optimized by your customer and customer. So here's the general overview that I already talk about that one, and just you look for the my channels in the previous screencast and you get a proper idea how what I mean, and then the possibility. Then now today this is the one of the Grafana dashboard. Once that's just like I just copy from the internet, I will show you later how the my applications, how the you can visualize the those dashboard with the Prometheus and then Grafana dashboard. And this is my application that I already talked about. This application, I have a really more microservice application. You see that this workspace, there's a microservice for user registration API, microservice, and then REST APIs, and then UVSoftGroup geospatial microservice, and then you have here the geospatial web application. That means this web application consuming these two microservices. This is one of the microservices that I already published into my channels. If you go to my channels and then you get the number 36, and it is, I think so, this is the microservices in my channels. You can go to the up and then there's a playlist, and I think this is the microservices. You can see the microservices. That's all the how we implement the microservices. How can you build the microservices with JPA and Hibernate Spatials, all things together. And this is the microservices is integrated the Spring Boot actuator. That's why I'm using these microservices, and how can you expose your microservices health and the information and metrics and visualize the Prometheus and Grafana. That was the idea. So that means that this screencast I didn't talk about more how can you implement the microservices, but you can follow the screencast number 36 and then you can get it how can you implement. But I will really give it a abstract overview into my projects, and then I can configure the Spring Boot actuator, micrometer, and Prometheus and the Grafana. Let's have a start to our developments. So that means this is my developments. That's the screencast number 36. That if you see there's a lot of microservices here running, microservice for user registration microservices, and so on so forth. And then you see that is not this is not I'm looking for. This is the microservice that's I am looking for, the 36 number. And then my application is running. That's you see my application, I mean 8077, and then I will show you detail about. So what you need, it's very simple for installing, configuring your Spring Boot actuator. So just that means you need your dependency injection. Doesn't matter is Maven based project or is a Gradle based project, depending which building tool you are using. That's I have a plan to make such a how the Maven building tool works, Gradle building tool works, and then how this two building tool with the Docker Docker image and Docker container works. I will show you, or I will milk some new screencast, and you can get over the idea. But you can get the idea here what I mean. Depending your building tools, you can inject your dependency. If you see your pom.xml files, this is the pom.xml file is open, and if you go to the down level, so you need the Spring Boot actuator. So you see the Spring Boot actuator, and then micrometer core. The micrometer core support for building your JVM, and JVM monitoring or JVM micrometer informations, and then you have